basically chalk. And the only distance final, which was the women's steeple, we knew our big two in Emma Coburn and Courtney Frerichs. The question was, who would get that coveted third spot now that Colin Quigley wasn't in the field?
Mm-hmm.
And it went to Val Constein of Tracksmith, former Colorado buff, getting that third spot with a huge PB, running 9:18.
Yeah, and you mentioned the drama associated with the fall with 2 laps to go with Leah Fallon, who I had her picked for third. I think most people had her picked for third, especially after the prelims, but this is the steeplechase. So even though she had broken away with Coburn and Frerichs, this was strangely tactical in the beginning. You don't see that often, even in championship steeples, because it's so crowded. You want to get out there and have room to maneuver. And it was slow, and they stuck together. Frerichs makes the move. Fallon responds, but then Fallon goes down. She still is running with that group. You still think, okay, can she recover? It obviously took a little bit out of her, threw her off her rhythm, and then Constein emerges from that pack that included Fallon and Courtney Waymet, among others, and gets that spot. Marissa Howard in there as well too. But yeah, the best race of her life, the fastest race of her life at the perfect time. That's what the Olympic trials are all about. Coburn goes 9:09, Frerichs 9:11, and Constein at 9:18.
Yeah. I mean, that fall that Fallon had, she looked good up there with the big two. You thought like maybe should she kind of stay back and try to just win that race for third, but she was going for it up front. And that fall, man, even though she was able to gather herself and get right back into it, with 2 laps to go, all that energy that kind of gets sucked out of you after a fall like that, it's kind of hard to come back from. And clearly she used up that energy just to recoup herself, get in the mix for one more lap, but then she just didn't have it in the final 300, final 200. And man, but still, hey, she put herself in it. This is a steeple, man. So many crazy things happen. People falling on final barriers. We see people who are about to make a team, and then that last barrier they fall. So that's what steeple is. It's just wild.
There's different flavors of falling in the steeplechase. There's kind of what happened when if it happens earlier in the race, like what happened when Frerichs went down. You can recover and you have time to do it. Then there's the falling in the water pit over the last, or on the last hurdle, which just ends the race entirely. Fallon was in the middle ground a bit where she was able to recover, but by that point, the pace had been picked up so much that losing any sort of time then was really detrimental to her trying to get top 3. And you're right, she was able to jump right into that group, but she was with the top 2. She wasn't with 4 through 8 at that point. She was with those top 2, and it just set her back and obviously threw off the rhythm. And you wonder too, when something like that, you're 2 laps from your dream, everything is going well up to that point, and then in an instant, everything changes and you're watching it evaporate in front of you. It has to be hard to recover, even though she still had a chance at that point to make it. The mental toll that it takes is probably almost as difficult as the physical toll.
Yeah. And, Val earned her spot. She ran 9:18:34, which is the 5th fastest time ever for an American. She just beat Leah Fallon's PB of 9:18:85 from 2016. So another woman in their prime kind of running in the 9-teens is what you want to see, so that our big 3 now, which is a big 2, start getting challenged more as we go on in this next Olympic cycle with the Olympics this year, 2022, 2023, et cetera. So,
And you mentioned she was on the Colorado team that won the title, right? With Sage Herda was on that team, looked pretty good in the 800 today. Of course, Danny Jones on there as well. So that group of 7 has done really well for themselves post collegiately, and in Herda's case, well, just